So today's lesson that I've learned is a two-part lesson. And it comes from the infinite wisdom of my father, who said something to me. It's been years now. And the phrase is, if you have expectations, you will be disappointed. And when he first said that to me, I really took offense to it, because he happened to pull that out of his little back pocket during the time. It was right after I was diagnosed with cancer, which, by the way, I don't know if I even said this in my story, but I asked for a divorce after 20 years with, I don't know if you can rank narcissists, but if you could, I think my ex was at the top 1% of the worst humans I've ever known. And so I spent 20 years with him, and 3 months later I got stage 4 cancer, which sucked. But he used that phrase with me because for years after asking for a divorce, it just never happened. And I would do things to expedite the process, to be accommodating, to try and make it easier on myself and my boys. I gave up a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have because I just wanted it done, right? I just wanted it done. And I remember I would call my dad and be like, I don't know what else I can do. I've done everything. I've jumped through all the hoops. I've made all these concessions. And he used to just say, if you have expectations, you will be disappointed. So after getting really pissed for a long time, because that would be the only thing he would ever say to me to console me, I finally got it. And yes, it took years, at least in that situation, for me to truly listen to what he said. And I think it's true with a lot of aspects in my life, and really in all of our lives, if I'm being real. You know, if you expect something, especially in relationships where the other party doesn't know your expectations, and you are met with a tremendous amount of disappointment, because especially in the cases of women and men, most of the time, God bless them, but men don't know. They don't know what our expectations are because they're not us. They're not females. And having 4 boys, I do know that the way that men think and the way that women think are just light years apart, which is beautiful, really, if you can learn the difference between the two genders and how they operate. And so I finally got to the point, you know, it took a solid 4 years for my divorce to be finalized. And it wasn't till the end that I really stopped having any expectations about the process, about the judicial process, about the shenanigans and the horrible, hateful things that were being said. And so that to me was a huge point of growth. And it was a difficult process for me. I said this before, that getting divorced, especially from a narcissist, someone that's very controlling, was far more difficult for me than fighting cancer. Because I don't know, with cancer, there's science behind it, right? You can research, you can figure out what's happening in your body, you can look up treatments and how they're supposed to act in your body and how your body feels and what you can do. There's more things I think I control with myself physically, but I couldn't control someone else, and I couldn't control the things he was doing, but I could control how I reacted to them. So I stopped having expectations with that, and it made it much easier for me to just look at it for what it was. And it was, you know, crazy don't know crazy. And I tried to use a rational mind on an irrational process. And so that was a huge, valuable lesson to me, that when you have expectations, you will be disappointed. So I say there's a 2-part to this, because the second part of this, I'm doing another video because I tend to talk too long, but that's it. Sit and think on that for a minute. If you have expectations, you will be disappointed.